Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world and what time you're tuning into this broadcast. Currently, I'm in France on a very rainy day. I know I'm silhouetted by this image, which you're not supposed to do, but I love it so much that I couldn't resist. The church tower in the background and the Pyrenees in the distance. This is not my home. I'm taking care of it for someone else for the 6 weeks that I'm here. Now, the reason that I'm taping this instead of doing it live is because Robin and I have been on our computers all week and have suffered a lot of outages and stutters and getting booted off and various problems due to the massive cyber attacks that are going on all over Europe right now around the Ukraine-Russia war. I think about Winston Churchill's beautiful speech where he said, "We will fight them on the land, we will fight them on the sea, we will fight them in the air," but he certainly never said, "We will fight them on the internet." So rather than risk an internet outage and having you suffer through that, I decided to record it to try to get around that. And even so, this is my third attempt to record this because I'm having various internet issues that we don't normally experience. Now, I want to share my PowerPoint real quickly here. Let's see if I can get this up. Here we go. Yes. So this event is titled "A Pause and Cause for Peace. Be the change you want to see." I was delighted to be invited to participate because this really hits me in the heart of who I am and the work that I do in the world. Now, when I was in grad school, the individual I studied the most was Carl Jung. You may know his name. And I'd like to share a meaningful quote from Dr. Jung. He said, "The world hangs by a thin thread, and that thread is the psyche of man." Nowadays, we are not threatened by elemental catastrophes, and by that he meant, tornadoes and earthquakes and hurricanes, which of course with climate change we are experiencing, but perhaps not to the degree that they were back in the Stone Ages. But what he says is that we, meaning human beings, are the great danger. The psyche is the great danger. He says, what if something goes wrong with the psyche? And so it is demonstrated in our day what the power of the psyche is, how important it is to know something about it, but we know nothing. Now, Jung was one of the founding fathers of psychology, and I think in the century since his time, we've come a long way, partly due to his influence, of beginning to understand the psyche. And my sense is that everybody involved with this broadcast, the coaches and the leaders, have some sense of getting in touch with psyche and having a relationship with it. And that brings us to the idea of the pause. I think when we pause, it's an opportunity to come into relationship with our inner self, with psyche, and to recognize the images, the voices, the ideas that are going on in there. And then I want to speak to everybody and say, this is what we do. All of the leaders and coaches in this space have their own techniques and tricks and tactics for having people come into relationship with psyche, to take that pause, to find that wisdom. So I'm going to share my screen once more very quickly, if I can, if it lets me. There it is. Okay. So that was a pause. You got to see us actually embodying a pause. So I'm doing an event at the end of the month for the Association of Psychological Types International. That's one of the ways that I connect with psyche. My website is drvickyjo.com, and I have a QR code here. If you point your cell phone at that QR code and take a picture of it, it'll take you to my website. You can sign up for my newsletter, and I will be notifying people of this free event I'll be doing for the Association of Psychological Type later in March. And you can also keep up with my crazy travels all over the world in my newsletter that comes out once a week. So thank you so much for participating in this pause with Robin and I today. I hope you got something valuable for yourself. Feel free to try this on your own. It's better when you have someone facilitate you, which is why, you know, coaches are so invaluable. But certainly try it out and then draw your own picture and see what Psyche has to say to you. So I'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.